anything you do is a record for life, and everything you put on the internet is a record for life. When I'm hiring people, I check their pages.
Damn.
I do.
Wow.
I'll never forget Whitney Houston, friend of mine. One guy I really wanted to hire him. Go to his page. He's got "Rest in Peace Whitney" written in cocaine on his page.
Written in like a picture?
Written in cocaine, a picture on his page. A picture of the cocaine on his page.
The drug, like written, the words are written.
Cocaine written, "Rest in Peace Whitney." Yeah, lined up in the white. And he didn't get the job because I went to his page. Because what people don't understand is that everything you are putting out is telling people everything about you.
Yeah.
So some people say that's not fair. It was like, well, if you don't, you never know who's who. So don't post things you don't want people to really,
judge
this
you on. Brings me to another question then, because this is such a relevant thing. I got to ask you about it. What do you think about Kanye West right now and all the things that he's saying in relationship to all this wild kind of talk about Hollywood and it obviously being on the internet, and he can never really take those things back,
Two things, and he's paying a big price for it. I don't care how much money he has.
He's losing a lot.
He's paying a huge price for it. And what you have to understand is this, man. My mother was worked at the Jewish Community Center. So when I was growing up, she would be home on certain holidays. So she taught us about Rosh Hashanah and different things the different Jewish holidays. I think I said that right. And she came home crying one day because they wanted to. I was like, "Why are you crying?" She's like, "They wanted to blow the place up." She took care of babies, Jewish kids in the Jewish Community Center. They were nursery kids. She couldn't believe that somebody could have that kind of hate, right? So anytime I hear somebody who makes anti-Semitic statements or blanketly pulls people into one thing, I am beyond concerned on one side of it, and mortified on the other. So, and then I look at what happened on the 405 with this huge sign, Kanye's right, and they're doing the Hitler salute. And when you have a voice and you have millions of people who follow you, you have to be really, really careful what you say.
Yeah.
Even if he feels that way, he has the right to feel however he does.
Of course.
But when you start to share on the other side of it, I cannot understand someone who has a mental health issue. Like, I've never had one. I've got family members who've had one. No matter what I do or what I try to do, I can never put myself in those shoes.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but my hope is whatever's going on with him, that it gets better. But I'm very, very concerned about him.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing the thing, like I said, that is most concerning, I think, is not just specifically, we'll talk about, enough talk about Kanye, but the blanket statements of things on the internet. Did you hear about the Andrew Tate stuff?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's fine. No worries. But the blanket statements of, like, say, okay, if you go, Jewish people or women, or you make these statements and then they follow with what comes next, it becomes dangerous because you have people who maybe because of age or because of life experience, like, they could take a concept and completely run with it without, like, being able to identify all the details and niceties regarding to it. And they just kind of like those people who are, well, I don't know what the fuck they were doing, taking pictures, like doing the Nazi stuff, like on the 405. It's like they're maybe not critically thought enough to go, okay, maybe this isn't the best thing to do, or maybe there's a different sort of motive or intention there. But I think it gets dangerous on the internet, which is why, like, we've been seeing a lot of, I maybe not be as aware of this, but recently on social media, like, people get banned or getting canceled, getting taken. That's why I was referencing the Andrew Tate thing, being canceled or taken off platforms entirely because of the things that they're saying being like these kind of like very like decisive, controversial, or sometimes blanket statements of like groups of people. And people aren't overall, I think, in nowadays being taught to critically think about concepts or things that are happening. We're just
I don't know how you could be taught to critically think when you are being inundated and told what to think by algorithms.
Yeah.
Listen, I've got a 7-year-old son who goes to school with every race imaginable.
Yeah.
And to this day, he has not come home and said, the black kid said this, or the Jewish kid said this, or the Indian kid said this. He'll come and, the girl with the red hair, or the guy who's wearing the blue shoes. And that purity, that innocence, I want him to hold on to as long as I can, because this world can be really, really cold and really, really ugly. And I think that, especially being a black person who grew up in the South, whose parents grew up in a Jim Crow South, I know racism firsthand. I know what it feels like. I know how awful it is to be blanketed. I still, to this day, know what it's like to walk up to a store and they won't open the door because all they see is a black man before
No
they even
way
know
to
it.
this day.
My hand to God.
No way.
My hand to God.
What?
My hand to God. I was in a store recently in Beverly Hills, and I was building a house, and there was a bathtub in the window. It's on La Cienega, beautiful bathtub. It looked antique. And I go and I'm looking in the window, and I go up to the door, and I knock,